Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Lex. So the T54 full review. I've actually showed the armor before, but I want to have it in my review videos, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. So if you guys have seen him before, then you guys probably already know everything you need to know about this tank. But if you're new to my channel, this is my second review that I've actually my official review, because I've done a lot of reviews, they just weren't official, but this one's official. So let's go ahead and look at the statistics. So I'm not going to be covering the B variant. The B variant is has more pin, but it's the aim time is longer. It's inaccurate. It doesn't. It's not really good while firing on the move. But if you do pick the M variant, which is the one we're going to be doing it on, this should be a good one for you. So this is the one that will get you into the OBJ 140. So let's look at the pin first. So 201 pin, which is really bad. That's why they call it the T54 heat. But I am going to go ahead and say that you don't really need a lot of heat rounds. You really don't. I use them when I'm in tier 10 battles because 201 isn't enough to pin. Well, let's just say you can't pin the side unless it's a complete 90 on a E100. Unless you use heat rounds. You even have trouble shooting it directly in the back of the turret with the 101 pin. It either pins or doesn't. But with this, it does 330 with 320 damage. So it's really good if you're using it up on higher tiers. Like I said, it's only needed against really heavily armed vehicles. And it does, I will say, heat rounds instead of having APCR, will pin people that are hull down much easier. So penetration, 50 for high explosives with 420 possible damage. I'm going to go ahead and say that I usually just stick with a standard shell, shoot the artillery, and then ram him, which is something that a lot of people don't know, that this has actually got some weight on it. So let's go ahead and go to all the statistics really quick. So DPM stock is 2500. Reload time in-game stock is 7.4. Fire 8 rounds a minute. You can carry 50 rounds, which is really important. And then take note of this. It has a really low velocity round. It's kind of like a derp. So anything below 1,000 is kind of poor, but this one takes the cake. Slow velocity round, meaning it's not really good at ranges. So just think about that for a second. You can, well, when I say at range, I mean like at the max range. You can still hit targets, but you're probably not going to be able to hit like pinpoint. It's not like a German gun. So this has a .33 accuracy with 100% trained crew. Which is good. It also has the aim time is 2.21. Elevation 20. Gun depression is 5 forward, 2 in the back. Let's see. Go back over here. So horsepower to ton ratio is 20, which is really good. It does 56 forward, and it will actually achieve that on flat ground, no problem. And it does 20 in reverse. And because of its ratio, it's actually really quick doing that. 1,650 hit points. The armor is 120, 80 on the sides, 45 in the rear. The turret is 200, 160, and then 65 in the back. The tracks count as spaced armor for 20, and the barrel counts as 40, which is actually pretty high up there, and 12% chance of engine fire. Now this is where this tank kind of takes a dive, and that is 390 view range is pretty poor for a tier 9. But if you look at its radio rate, so 761, that's actually better than most tier 9 American, German. It's got about 20 more than normal. So look at its camouflage rating, which I wanted to point out to you, is that one of the best things about this tank is you can use it as into 3 roles. You can use it as a long-range sniper using the heat rounds. You can use it as a TD. You can use it as an aggressive medium, or you can use it as a scout or spotting tank. So we've covered everything that you really need to know about this. So I'm going to show you how I run it. First thing I usually get for my tanks is vents, and then second, gun rammer. Now I switch this for Camouflage Net depending on how my matchmaking is going, but I can afford to do that. And of course, coated optics, which gives us 438 on our view range, and 778 for our transmission rate, which means we're actually a tier 9 spotter at that point. And you can see that our DPM goes up to almost 3,000. So that's pretty good. That means we're getting off like 3 more rounds per minute. And that's well worth the gun rammer. And you can see that we get a total of 9 shells off, and our reload time goes down to 3.58, which is pretty good. Now, we haven't even touched perks yet. Now I want to show you guys the perks that I have. Now keep in mind that this is a PC mod, and on the PC you can train each individual crew member separately. So just keep that in mind. So what I have is basically camouflage or concealment, brothers in arms, mentor, sixth sense, and then I have eagle eye. And that's just on my commander. Well, I mean, Xbox is this, as you can see it, you have to redo it with each crew member. On Xbox it's much easier. You can just do your entire crew at once. And of course snapshot is what we have. And then smooth ride. And I would recommend in the future, I mean, I'm actually working on unlocking this right now, and that is safe stowage. Just going to tell you right now, safe stowage is definitely needed. I also like adrenaline rush, but it's not really needed. And of course you can go situational awareness, which will give you 14 more on your range if you wanted to make this even a better spotter. As you can see right here, look at that. Gives you 462 with situational awareness. Now there's another one with the commander with recon. You can see it takes it up to 71, which would be crazy. That's about that's a little bit further than binoculars. Binoculars can see 500 meters, but well, you guys all know there's a cap on that, right? I mean, I'm assuming you guys know that there's a cap. But I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna do some testing on that this weekend with some friends, and we're gonna actually measure out. We figured out how big the map is, and if you guys don't know it, the map. So the A1 area is exactly 100 meters. So each square on the map is a 100 meter marker. So if we butt up to the very edge of the map and I see somebody across there that has, say, a heavy tank, we can see just how far we're going to be able to see and how far we can detect him on a private match just to check it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some more information on that. So that's how I run it. So to cover it again, just in case you guys weren't watching, you know, these are all good perks. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and remove recon because I don't actually have it. But I do have these. I have camouflage, brothers in arms, mentor, eagle eye, sixth sense, and then I have snapshot, smooth ride, and of course I do not have situational awareness. I do think that would be good in the future. I'm definitely going to start working on that. And of course these are the 3 that I have. So we have safe stowage for our loader. Yeah, pretty good. And if we go and look back at the marks, you guys can see that this tank already is a good firing on the move tank, but with all these extra things on it, it's an excellent tank. You can get the aim time down to 3.11, which means there's no reason to trade in your coated optics. Now if you guys are going to be going for situational awareness, if you have coated optics on it, it'll rank up much faster if you have coated optics. So situational awareness and coated optics or binoculars will make you rank up quicker. And of course, if you're going for concealment or camouflage, you want to use Camouflage Net. So I wanted to show you this, is that you can get a 62% camouflage rating while sitting still in a bush with this right here. And I mean, just, you know, and you can just basically spot out people. Say you take a lot of damage and you can fall back and play a TD, which is amazing. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the armor and see what it's effective at. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys its uber weak points, which it does have one. So this thing has its fuel tank right here. It's all the way in the front here. It's why you can actually catch these on fire if you shoot it in the front. So the fuel tank sits here and the ammo rack sits right behind it. It's basically a place where they store those 50 rounds. You know, there's obviously some stored in the turret, but most of them are stored down here. So the loader, or you know, the guy that loads the tank, he's over here, which means he has access to him while it's facing forward. So he can just basically grab the shell. So it's like right here. So if you guys look at it, and this is on all of them, the T54, the Motherland, Type 59, basically it's like right here. Like I have ammo rack this. It does require like 122 or 152 millimeter, but if you do hit it here, you will blow the turret right off of this thing. So that's something you should keep in mind when you're actually in this tank. I always face people like this. I always give them a little bit of the angle on the sides and the front, but I never give them this side. If we look in really close here, you guys can see that the fuel tank lid is right there. So like I said, it's just one of those things you want to be super careful of when you're in this tank. So its effective armor is basically like the Motherland. It's 200 millimeters equivalent here, and it's about 221 here. So this is just enough for a tier 9 gun to pin this anywhere it wants to, or APCR. So this is also a weak point here. If you look, there's a rounded point. There it is. Let's find it again. It's right there at 216. It's just one of those weird places, but it's incredibly hard to hit. As you can see, it's really hard to hit. You might as well be trying to hit this hatch. And look, it goes from 234 and then has a weak point of 214. So right here is probably your best chance of pinning it. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, if you guys don't know it, APCR rounds need 10 more penetration than what they say they do. So if an APCR round says that, say you had an APCR round that could pin 200 millimeters, right? And you fired and you hit right here, it would bounce it every single shot. Even if it had, but if you wanted to pin it, you would need 210 millimeters exactly to pin it. But we all know that that doesn't work with the Motherland, right? It still has an uncanny ability to bounce shots, and that is because when you angle this, it goes up even higher. I've actually bounced, BL9s and even a BL10 once on my hull just because of the angle he shot me at. He shot me like way over here and it bounced. Now, this is actually an okay side scraper, and what makes it a good side scraper is the fact that most people don't know that there is a super weak point right down here that's only 20 millimeters thick. So a high explosive to this area will cripple your tank, so be careful when you come around a corner. Now, if we take a look at the gun mantle, it's 200 millimeters, but its effectiveness is 240, 4 something, 221, 225. It's everything that would require a tier 9 to actually have to use APCR on you. Yeah, a matter of fact, I actually know of a tank that can pin this at tier 7 because it has heat rounds, and that's the Chinese IS-2. I've been pinned by it before. He shot me like in this area, and it pinned me with every shot. So just wanted to show you guys that. Heat rounds are a hull-down vehicle's worst enemy. So now that you guys know that there are weak points on the turret, which is mainly right here, which is why you'll see one of these tanks always moving. Now the other places are the hatches, and that's pretty much it. That's all you guys really need to know. Anyway, let's go ahead and go right into the gameplay. Alright, so here we are in Fisherman's Bay. I had to do some weird editing because I sent a message, and I also showed my friends list, which I try not to because I don't want people spamming friends. So I chose this particular map for 2 reasons. One is I'm going to use this tank as a aggressive scout, at first. Then I'm going to change into a medium, and then I'm going to go and start doing long range gameplay. And you guys will see me using this in 3 different positions, which is 1, I'm going to play it like a heavy at a point. But right now I'm in spotting mode, meaning I just want to detect people. And we know that with the configuration I showed you that I'm seeing over 390 meters. So me getting into some bushes with my camouflage rating makes this thing incredibly difficult to see. Now I can see this Motherland over here, and he's actually unfortunate because he only has 350 meters of view range, which is pretty bad. So I'm actually, usually people cross this field, and if I can catch them with their pants down, I can kind of park in one of these bushes and shoot them. So I'm basically getting really aggressive. Now if I fire at him, chances are I'm going to get detected. So I try to throw a track, and I don't want to use my heat rounds. I just want to use my standard. Now I only use heat rounds on tanks that I know that I cannot pin. So I see a leopard over there, and I'm like, okay, and if you look, I actually got credit for detecting him. And the reason why is, from what I can tell, is because I have a higher field of view. So if you could be actually behind somebody, and if he has a lower field of view, even though he's closer to the person and may even have detected the guy, I'll get credit for it because I have a better view range. So there's a leopard PTA and an Indian Panzer over there, which I got the detection for that as well, as you guys can see. Now I'm trying to give this motherland some protection, and it looks like he's done some work to this leopard PTA. So I'm going to come around and sneak shot him and ram him because of the weight of this vehicle. As you can see, I didn't really do much damage to myself, and I'm going to go ahead and try and use my speed and armor to prevent myself. Now he is fully upgraded, but the reload time on that is 8 seconds. So now all I got to do is take out this Indian Panzer, and it looks like he pretty much gave up. He has a 90mm, but we do about the same damage. He actually has more pin than me. I just don't think he realizes that. So artillery is hitting me, and here I am taking on like a heavy tank, head to head, and I'm trying to give him my upper hatch so that he cannot pin me anymore. And you can see that taking out those two tanks, you know, I still have decent health. So now I don't want to play any more aggressive roles. So now I'm going to take a secondary position, and I'm going to go ahead and play as a, well, let's just say I'm going to go ahead and play as a TED. So we know there's guys over here. I'm going to kind of do two things. I'm going to play as a TED, and I'm also going to keep these guys spotted. So I'm going to pop up and I get detected, and then I'm going to go ahead and go down. Now I'm showing just the edge of my turret, and I'm going to go ahead and give a shot here, and I get that. There we go. So I take a shot from the right, and I don't know if you guys have had it happen before, but you click left and then let go of the stick, and you think, you know, that you're actually backing up and you're not. So he got my ammo rack, so now I really am like a TED. So my ammo rack, like I told you, right where he shot me, that is where the ammo rack is. I'm actually lucky that he didn't blow my turret off. So what I'm going to have to do is protect that side really heavily, and you're going to see that I'm not going to give that angle to that guy again. If he does shoot me, he shouldn't be able to pin me, and so now I'm going to actually stop firing. You can see artillery wants to hit me. I'm keeping this E75 lit up. I'm keeping these other guys, and you can see that I'm actually getting target spots hit. Now, nobody's shooting the guys that I'm detecting, so I decide I should probably displace. And what I mean is that I'm keeping them detected and nobody's hitting them, so I'm not going to get any credit. So I need to back up and try and get better angles, and use these bushes for camouflage. And I should be able to take out this other Indian Panzer with no problem. I'm going to try and use the bushes, and the problem with bushes is that when you fire, you get detected because they see the muzzle blast. But if your barrel's actually in it, now did you guys see that? Now that was a standard shell bouncing off the Indian Panzer's turret. Now it's completely rounded, and that's one of the bad things about this tank, is that only having 201 penetration on a tier 9 is really low. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't think you would have needed anything more than that when they designed this. Because heat rounds were pretty much, they had 3 different rounds. They even have other ones called HESH, which are basically high density, gunpowder and all that. So here we go, we got an E75, and I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit aggressive. Go ahead and back up. He's aiming on me. I am hull down though. I just want you guys to realize that I'm hull down. So if he does shoot me, it should bounce. Now I do want to let you guys know that I don't actually have in this game. I didn't actually earn the perk that allows you to see damage modules, which is why I did it, because he could have fired at me and killed me, and so I was kind of pushing my luck, and so I come around, and then there you go. There's my what was that, fourth kill, fourth critical hit, penetration. I got 4 target spots hit. I got 2 detections, and so you can see that the wide range that you can use with this vehicle, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, it's a huge area that you can play in this vehicle. It's one of my favorite tier 9 tanks. Seriously, it's one of my favorites. Right now we're working on the hammer op, and this is probably a video you guys will see right before op 2 comes out. So I'm probably going to release it the day after. So the 19th is when it's supposed to come out, which is this Friday. And I'm actually making this on the 16th. So yeah, this will come out before that. But yeah, my second full review on a tank. I'm also going to be doing one on the STI here, showing a full armor, and if you guys ever need to, you can refer back to that. So as you guys can see here, 2500 damage, which is about average what I do. But in combination, you can see that second on the board, even though my damage is much lower than other people, just because of the simple fact that this tank can play multiple roles. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good one. Later.